In this report, I'll share the top 10 mistakes international overseas retirees make. These 10 mistakes I share with you are not theoretical. I've lost thousands of dollars making mistakes, and hundreds of others overseas retirees have made other mistakes I'll share with you. I left the United States in 2007 at the age of 47, and I've lived in or visited 73 countries during those 17 years. I visit the USA for a week or two every few years, but I do not have an empty bed in the USA waiting for me. You may ultimately decide to make some of these mistakes, but do it with your eyes wide open. I'll also give you 2 bonus mistakes that are the most dangerous, and I'll give you a free ebook that explains how I prepared before flying overseas. Okay, here we go. Do not fall in love with the first country. Don't fall in love with the first country you visit. There are a bunch of places around the world that you would love. This isn't like looking for a needle in a haystack, so don't fall in love with your first country. Do a little bit of exploration. See the countries around your target country first. Maybe go to another part of the world too. See the countries around your target country. It's not expensive to be in these retire cheap countries. Many of them are right next door to each other. You can take trains and buses across borders, stay in Airbnb apartments, so you can shop and cook and get to know the feeling of everyday life there. You can do some real exploration for not much more once you're on that side of the world. We often take buses between countries for almost nothing. See what it feels like to be in multiple countries next to each other before picking where to retire. Do not fall in love with your first country. Okay, number 2, do not apply for a retirement visa too soon. You haven't even lived in this place long enough to know if it's right for you. You haven't visited the surrounding cities in this new country or the surrounding countries in this part of the world. So why would you apply for a retirement visa in the first year or two? In many countries, the retirement visa requires you to set up bank accounts, prove that you have income, gather documents, meet with officials, and pay a bunch of fees. What if you decide you don't really love the place after the honeymoon is over? What if you visit a second country, the country next door, and decide you like it better? Would you immediately get another retirement visa in the country next door, or should you wait until the honeymoon is over there? This isn't high school. You don't have to marry the first country you've fallen in love with. Spread your wings a little. Spread your love around to multiple countries. See which one feels right to you all the way down to your bones. Instead, do what I call an exploratory visit. Fly to that region of the world and date multiple countries in that region one after another. This may sound super expensive, but we usually take buses on the ground as we explore a region of the world for like $20 per bus between countries. I think of regions of the world like a buffet restaurant. You sample 5 or 10 dishes on the buffet, and you pick 1 or 2 of your favorite dishes out of the 10. Then you go back and load those 3 favorite countries onto your plate, and you pig out on them for months. Live in each of your 3 favorites for 3 to 6 months, or until your tourist visa expires. Spending a few months in your favorite 3 will help you clearly understand which one you will love once the honeymoon is over. Now you're ready to apply for your retirement visa. Plus, if your favorite country ever changes the laws and how it treats foreigners, you can dump that country and move on to another country, one you already know about intimately. Your second favorite. These countries have to compete for your love. You have to know your value in relation to the market before you can make any long-term decisions. So don't start marrying countries with retirement visas before you know your value. Knowledge of the world around you is power. Number 3, do not ship your stuff right away, if ever. Don't ship your stuff to a new country for the first few years. Give your new life overseas time to settle in before shipping, if ever. In fact, I recommend just selling everything you own except for family photos. Scan photos and put them in the cloud. Store your music in digital form. If you have family heirlooms, put those in storage for the first few years. Rent furnished places in the new countries and surrounding countries until you know you've made a more permanent decision. After your exploratory visits and after your retirement visa is granted, only then should you consider shipping anything. Again, I never shipped. I recommend selling all your old stuff in the old country and slowly acquiring only what you absolutely need in the new country. You'll find you might be a minimalist like I found out. After 17 years, I still have never settled down. I love slow traveling the world too much. You could end up like me. I've fallen in love with 20 different countries, some more than others, of course, but what would have happened if I shipped to all of them sequentially, one after another? What a waste of time, energy, and money. So don't ship anything until your exploratory visits and your final selections are complete, if ever. I know a guy that shipped all of his shit to Mexico before he left the USA. Then he bought land in Mexico. Then he fell in love with a country in Southeast Asia. Then he shipped everything to Southeast Asia. The truth is, some foreigners move home after a few years. Why put yourself and your family heirlooms through all that drama? Don't make that mistake. Put it in storage. Don't ship your stuff to a new country for the first 2 to 3 years. Okay, number 4, set up non-SMS TFA before moving overseas. Banks and investment firms require you to do an extra step when you log in to stop hackers trying to steal your money. That's true even in your home country. So financial institutions use two-factor authentication, or 2FA, to make sure you are who you say you are and not some hacker who got your password from a data breach. Using one of the earliest forms of 2FAs, banks would text a code to you on your smartphone that you would type into the financial institution's webpage after your password was correctly entered. Texting a code to you on your smartphone is officially called SMS TFA. The bad news is hackers have begun to intercept those text codes and use it to hack into people's accounts. But don't panic yet. It's still not all that common for hackers to intercept SMS TFA. But if I were you, I would begin to migrate away from those SMS code 2FAs and towards a more secure form of 2FA. The website for your bank or broker recommends another form of 2FA called an authenticator app. For example, I just Googled Wells Fargo 2FA, and they have recommended a 2FA that you can read about. As soon as this video is over, Google what 2FA your bank recommends. In my free ebook, How I Fired My Boss and Traveled the World for 17 Years, I have a list of things I recommend you set up before you leave your home country. Trust me, it'll be harder to set up some of these things if you wait until you're overseas.
If you like my free ebook about how I fired my boss and traveled the world for 17 years and how I pay for things, come to Vagabond Buddha and grab the free ebook.
Okay, number 5, do not shop exclusively in expat grocery stores. What is an expat grocery store? An expat grocery store has air conditioning, vinyl floors, and shopping carts. The people you see shopping there are rich locals and foreigners. The value-conscious locals and foreigners shop in the wet markets. A wet market has fresh fruits, vegetables, fish, meats sold in individually owned stalls in a large market by farmers and fishermen. You're cutting out the middleman if you shop in a wet market. Shopping primarily in expat grocery stores is very expensive. They have multiple types of foreign food you can buy from all over the world. They sell specialty foods from each country, such as America, Italy, Germany, whatever. If you just have to have American pickles or mustard, you'll pay through the nose. If you take an interest in your new country and you're able to learn about the local foods in the local market, your grocery budget could easily be 70% cheaper and fresher. Do not put money in foreign banks. Number 6, keep your money in your home country bank for now. You do not understand the laws outside your home country. Don't rush into anything. Why would you put your life savings in a foreign bank? Just use your ATM card to get money out of your home country bank when you need it. A Charles Schwab card will rebate your ATM fees, so consider banking with them in the U.S. if you're an American before you leave. Other countries you want to Google where the ATM cards are rebated in your country. After you've settled in a new country and have learned the laws there for a few years, then you can put some of your money in a foreign bank if you want to. But for now, keep your money in your home country bank, rent your house out, and get a property manager. Think of this like you're exploring. Don't think of it like you're going to take one step and it's going to be perfect. You could step on a sharp rock and not like your first country, then step on one country to the right and fall in love. When you're ready to go full-time in a country, it'll be obvious to you. Don't rush this like you know the first country you meet will be happily ever after. If you decide to put money in foreign banks, make sure to understand any banking rules in your home country that require you to report foreign accounts. For example, the USA has very stiff penalties for opening foreign bank accounts without properly reporting it to them. Okay, number 7, don't go exclusive with one overseas guru. I don't know everything bad that can happen to you. None of the retire overseas gurus know everything despite what they may tell you. So make sure to listen to multiple sources and do your own research before making any permanent, life-altering decisions. Some gurus offer to help you retire overseas after only living overseas themselves for 5 or 10 years. They probably know more than you for sure if you're new, but continue to listen to multiple people and continue your research from multiple sources as long as possible. So pick a few gurus that seem sincere and honest to you, and don't just focus on a single guru. Some of us know some countries better than others, but it would be almost impossible for any one of us to keep up on all the changes that happen daily all over the world. And even when you have a good overseas guru you are following, do deeper research on any topic that you perceive as confusing or risky in your journey. Do not put all your marbles in one source or one guru. Okay, number 8, don't hang out exclusively with expats. This is a big mistake a lot of people make. When I first left the USA in 2007, I was the only Westerner at the company I worked. So I made friends with the locals. They were all part of my everyday life. But I noticed that a bunch of the expats living there at the time all hung out together. Not all of the expats were like this, but many of them were. They often didn't work with or socialize with or make any local friends. So many expats never really got to see the local culture through a local's eyes. If you're just hanging out with expats, you're not going to get an idea of the traditions of the culture you're in. You're just going to be kind of a fish out of water. It's okay to have expat friends, but if you make a steady diet of that, before long, it'll be like purchasing a ticket to get out of that country, which is fine. Maybe that country's not right for you. Maybe you need to explore some other countries, but you should at least get an honest look at the country through the eyes of the locals before flying away. I really believe there is a home country and a favorite country for every human on the planet. The grass is always greener, so the favorite country for you is likely to be different from your home country. Be careful of negative expats when you land overseas. If an expat is talking trash about the locals, they may pollute your opinion through osmosis before you've even formed your own opinion. They say things like, they don't know how to run a country here. They're idiots. I wish they would do it like we do back home. Move away from people like this. Discover what you really feel about the place. You may actually love the place if you had spent time seeing it through the eyes of someone who really enjoys it, whether local or foreigner. So make sure to include people in your circle of friends who can share what is so lovable about each country. Okay, number 9, don't pay for sex. Paying for sex is not really a fulfilling way to live your life. I'm not judging you or the women or the men involved, whatever. I'm just saying it's not a good way to live your life. It's hard on your self-esteem. It's hard on your health, and it's hard on your pocketbook. In any country in the world, you can meet normal locals that are looking for authentic love. Plus, because you're a foreigner, you're interesting to people. So you already have a leg up on the competition. You don't have to go to some bar and buy a round of drinks for everyone and develop these inauthentic relationships. Just go to a bar and have fun. People will be interested in you. Go to the park and have fun. Go everywhere and have fun. Don't worry about trying to impress anyone. Whether you're a man or woman, people will be interested in you because you're from another country. They like accents. They like to learn about new cultures. They like to make friends with people from other countries. There's no reason for you to waste your time going into places or trying to create inauthentic relationships. So don't pay for sex. Online electronic dating apps work in foreign countries. Put your profile up in a foreign country and go out and meet people and have fun. Number 10, don't assume the laws are the same. Assuming the laws and the legal rights are like your home country is not realistic. Every country has quirky different things about it. It is better if you stay on the right side of the law. Breaking laws, getting in fights, or being rude to people are all a bad idea when you don't understand the environment you're in. Just be a polite visitor. Be a nice representative of your home country. Okay, those are the top 10 mistakes international retirees make. Now it's time for 2 bonus mistakes and our free ebook. Okay, bonus mistake number 1. Don't try to create your old life in a new country. Don't try to create your old life in this country. Each country has a different personality. They have different foods, different groceries. If you go there and try to create the same car, the same house, the same food, the same life you had, you'll be disappointed. That country is different than your home country, and to try to recreate it would be super expensive, and it wouldn't even fit the bill once you'd spent all that money. The world is getting more homogenized, but things are still quirky and different in each country. 2 years from now, you have no idea what local foods you're going to like in the restaurants, but you have to try them before you'll know. So don't just eat steak and potatoes and burgers in expensive expat-style restaurants. Don't try to recreate your old life in this new country. Don't look for that old food. Learn what the local food is all about. Read about the restaurants in the area. Find out what the specialties are. Get immersed in that culture. Find out what the locals are up to and hang out with them. Find out what the culture is really about. Don't eat the same food at home. Don't try to live in the same house and drive the same car and do the same routines. You see, a local dish might only cost you $1.50, but if you look for an Italian restaurant serving fettuccine alfredo, it could cost you a fortune, and it won't taste anything like what you expect. You see, the new country does their food best, not Italian food. Immerse yourself in the country, become part of the culture, and you will save a lot of money, and you'll learn something too. And that something you'll learn is whether or not that country feels right for you. Instead, if you say, I want my old house, I want my old car, I want my old food, what's the point? You're not really enjoying a new country. You're not exploring the world. You brought your world with you. Okay, bonus number 2, buying real estate too soon. You should live in a foreign country at least 2 years before buying real estate. That means that you already lived there for 2 years before you think about buying real estate. If you think about the times you bought real estate in your home country, it's when you knew everything, the neighborhood, how much things cost, you knew what they sold for. You didn't buy a place when you didn't know anything about the place or the neighborhood. You didn't buy it after going to visit for 2 weeks. Then when you move to a new country where you don't know the laws, why would you buy real estate so quick? Don't buy real estate for the first year or 2. That's the #1 mistake international retirees make when they move overseas to a new country for the first time. And guess what? It's often a guru telling them to do that, an overseas guru. Why do you think they're doing that? Because they get a commission. Don't do that. Wait until you're smart enough to know if that's the right pick for you and what neighborhood you want to live in and what's your friends paid in this neighborhood, and you'll know a lot more after a few years, and you'll be able to make a good deal. Now, if you have so much money that buying another home is like a drop in the bucket, then go for it. In fact, I don't even recommend selling your old home in your old country before you finish your exploratory visit. The rental income from your home in your home country is probably double or triple what you'll have to pay in one of these paradise destinations. So why sell that place when you know it's been taken care of? Hire a property manager and rent it out. Use the income to pay the lower rents in the new foreign country. Okay, do you want to learn how to avoid con artists, lovers overseas? Then click the video in the upper right-hand corner of your screen right now.